Hello, my name is Charles Martinez. Today's date is November 7th, and it is approximately 12:28 p.m. And today's attempt will be the Circ 07 C attempt. And in this attempt, we're supposed to connect a button switch and have it turn off the LED. Now I know that there was a student that said that the code was wrong and it was uploaded wrong and they had to switch it. And I mean, let's see here. If you go to the actual book itself, or the '07 Circ '07, it says right here. It says up to this point we focus entirely on outputs. This time, get our Arduino to listen, watch, and feel. We'll start with a simple push button. Wiring a push button is simple. There's one component to pull up the resistor. That might seem out of place. This is included because the Arduino doesn't sense the same way we do. Instead, it looks for the voltage on the pin and decides whether it's high or low. The button is set up to pull Arduino's pin low when pressed. However, when the button is unpressed, the voltage of that pin will float. To get the Arduino to reliably read the pin as high when the button is unpressed, we add the pull-up resistor. Okay, so high when the button is unpressed, that means that when the button is unpressed, it should be on. And it's saying here Arduino's pin, it says the button is set to pull the Arduino's pin to low. So it says it's set to pull the Arduino's pin to low, meaning turn it off. So when you push the button is set to pull the Arduino pin to low. So it should turn off the light. So you shouldn't. The code was fine. There was nothing. We didn't have to change anything. I know a student said that it was wrong, and I think the instructor, you said that it was indeed wrong, and it wasn't wrong. It's doing what the way it's supposed to be done. It stays on when you turn it on. When you push the button, it turns it to low and turns the LED off. And that's what it's stating here. So it also states here, note the first example of the program uses only one of the buttons. So we're only going to be using one button for this one here. So let's go back. Now that we explained that the code is correct and we didn't really need to change anything as recommended in the Pronto chat, does not need to be done. It's working fine. Okay, so let's go over the code here. And we got some constants. They won't change. They're going to stay the same. It's a constant integer. Button pin equal to 2, which is the number of the push button. Like I said, we're only using one push button on this attempt here. The LED is set to pin 13. Variables, let's hear that we're going to change is the integer button state equals to 0. And this is a variable for reading the push button state. And then we start with our void setup. That's going to pretty much end the initial phase of the setup there. And we're going to add the pin mode LED output, letting it know that it's going to be pin mode and the LED pin is going to be output. And LED pin, we declare it to pin 13. And then we have pin mode button pin to input, and button pin is on the top up there, it's labeled as pin 2. So pin 2 is going to be input, and pin 13 will be output to our LED. Pin 2 input for our button state. Then we go to our next piece of the code here, which is going to be the void loop. And here is going to be read the state of the push button value. So the button state equals digital read button pin, and it's going to check it. It's going to check the push button is pressed. If it is, the button state is high. And if button state equals high, it turns the LED on. Turn LED on. And digital write LED pin high, so of course it's on. If not, and we're not getting that high voltage, we're getting the low from the push button, it's going to turn the LED off with the LED set to LED pin low, digital write LED pin low. So pretty much meaning it's going to be on, it's set to high, and when the button is hit, it's going to turn it off when it does recognize that it's not high, which the button state should be high until the button pin is pushed and to switch it to low. So we'll go ahead and go over the Arduino here. just the way it is in the layout. We do have the 560 ohms resistor to the cathode, the negative, for our LED, or red LED here. We do have the positive, the anode, connected to pin, or it's in the breadboard, pin 19, going to pin 13 over here on our Arduino kit itself. And so that's the LED there. There's a 560 ohms resistor to the negative, and then we have the going to pin 13 on our the positive going to pin 13 on our Arduino. As far as the push buttons, we have both of them in this attempt. We're just using the top one, but we do have them both plugged in as the way it's shown in the diagram. And we have the this one to 10k ohms resistor on both of them. On the positive, actually, they're going to have some resistor on the positive, or on the one that's going to the input, or for the pin. And this one's going to be pin 2. It's going connected to pin 2. The other one we have connected to pin 3. And both of them are connected the same. They do have the green wire there going for the negative, or the cathode, going to the negative, and we do have our negative and positive hooked up to our 5 volt and our ground over here on our deal. So those are all good to go, and let's go ahead and plug it up and let's see what it does. And we'll go ahead and upload the code just to make sure everything is working properly. We'll go to upload, and then we'll get the deal there. We're going to get the little send and receive, and it's on. So the state is set to high, and when our push button is pushed, it's gonna send it to the low if it's pushed. So we'll go ahead and push it here, and it turns it off. And we release it, it sets it back to high and turns it back on. So we push it, turns it off, let it go, push it, let it go, there we go. And this is our attempt C on Circ 07. Thank you.